y'all. My name is Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you're now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. This little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews, and today we are reviewing Abbott Elementary, episode 11, season 5, episode 11, Mall 3 Heroes. And we're sipping on Bacardi and Kahlua. Not Bacardi. Is it Bacardi? No, not Bacardi. Bailey's, and it was with a B. It was with a B. So Anyways, how y'all doing? I just felt there were so many metaphors in this episode. Like they be trying to tell you stuff without. Like I just still feel like I don't know why they're allowing this show to go forward and they haven't canceled it yet. I was reading this thing. I was watching this reel on Instagram, and it was saying how like when Boomerang, eventually I'll do Boomerang, but when Boomerang first came out, like Hollywood, like black people loved it, and maybe a few little spatterings of others and white people and shit. But like when Boomerang came out, Hollywood hated it because they called it a reverse reality because it was black people, with professional jobs, acting like professionals in classy clothing and eating at fancy restaurants, and just they weren't the stereotype that they were trying to push heavily at that time, because it came out during a time where like gangster movies or hood movies and stuff were prevalent and as black entertainment. And so basically when that came out, they called it a reverse reality. They could not conceive that black people could work in corporate and live in a penthouse and be a VP and an executive and anything like that. They could not conceive. And the sad part is most of these people that can't conceive it probably have their token black that works at their corporation at that time. And what did you think that token black, they were just going home. They make maybe a little bit less than you, but enough to live in a penthouse. They were just going home to the hood. Every day from the skyscraper they were working in. They were just, like they were going home to live in the hood. They drove some, Cadillac, Seville, and, on hydraulics. On the weekends, they would have barbecues with their nigger friends and shit. Like, that's what you imagine the token blacks that actually worked with you in real life in your corporations and during that time were doing. I don't understand I do just because racism is illogical and shit, but damn. So to go from that to every black woman in a movie or show is light skinned, or she has to be in a relationship with somebody that's not black, to like this. I don't know why this show is still on for 5 seasons when they barely ever give us anything that involves 2 black people together in a relationship, in love, and anything like that. And it's mostly a black cast, and all the kids at the school are black except for that one white token kid and stuff. And, we love him. He's there. We haven't seen him except for the Halloween episode. That was the last time. But, he's there around somewhere. I don't even think I got like light-skinned Latino kids at that school. It might be some Afro Latinos, but I don't even see no light. There's all black children. This is like the set is like an acting school for the babies, y'all. Like they learning how to act from professionals and shit that been in the game for decades and shit. This shit is beautiful, and I just thank God every day that there's another episode of this show, because this shit should not exist in the climate that we have lived in since slavery. This shit, no, I don't care. This shit should not exist at all, period. So it's a blessing. It is, every time I watch it, I just want to bring that back up again, just because I saw that video about Boomerang, and I was sitting there watching that video and how these white people in Hollywood just couldn't conceive of professional black folks, and I was just like, how is Abbott Elementary going on its 5th season? Like, how is that happening? Like, Like, and nothing else like is really like it. Quirky, weird black people. Like nothing else is really like that. You know, like the rest of the shows are just regular dramas and black people in relationships with niggas that's cheating on them, or they find out they on the DL, or they got diseases and all this random dramatic shit that I gotta be in a certain mood to watch. So I just, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think this is a blessed piece of media right here. I do. It's magical. It is. So let's get into the show. So they're still in the mall, right? And like, they're trying to figure out when they're going to get out the mall. And Jacob was funny. He was trying to do PE with the kids, and then he tried to make them walk. Like, I was just like, Jacob, these aren't high schoolers. They don't want to just walk and talk. They want to actually play and da-da-da. And they were just like, can we just play dodgeball? And he was just like, I can't just play dodgeball every single time. Yes, you can. Yes, you fucking can. You can play dodgeball every single time. I didn't know them balls were that hard that they was going to break that glass, though. Like, I was just like, is that a basketball? Like, the fuck? I thought dodgeballs were like the consistency of like a beach ball, but maybe slightly harder. Like, okay, whatever, nigga. And so, like, the district comes to the school. I think he's Latin. The Latin guy with the curly hair that's like slightly annoying and shit. He comes to the school, right? And they think they're coming to the school to tell them that, oh, you can go back to the Abbott Elementary school building instead of da-da-da. But no, they were coming to tell them that they were doing such a good job. Apparently, they were doing such a good job at this small school that, they're going to be in the newspaper now. And da-da-da. The kids' grades are better. They're functioning and they're thriving some way, somehow. And they've been doing it for a month. And so they're going to be in a newspaper, and then Scholastic's going to give them, school supplies and and I was just like the therapist, like I was just like, this, you don't get shit for free from people that have been treating you like shit this whole time. They had you in a school full of mold that burst and exploded basically because they weren't taking care of y'all. They took you had to do like nefarious shit just to get the school like new computers and supplies that they eventually took away because they didn't want you to be able to buy the shit on your own or have somebody else help you out to buy the shit for the school and shit, because liability, whatever, nigga. That nigga was giving them shit and it was fine. So this whole time, just like I said before, this whole time they've been giving you the patterns of recognition to let you know that they ain't shit. When Gregory sat there and was like, why are we going to be in a newspaper? I was just like, yes, ask questions. No one's asking questions. As I said in my other videos, you can't rub elbows with chaos without getting that shit on you. And they got that shit on them because they thought they was, shit was sweet. And they didn't want to believe the therapist when she said that they wasn't fixing the school and shit, and they just wanted to believe that they was getting free shit and everything's fine and we don't even care anymore and da. And like, I just felt like it was just a metaphor for everything we've been experiencing in the world as black people. You get your little accolades. I guess award season. Like, you get your little accolades and your awards for, basically catering to white supremacy and shit in certain areas and stuff. Because certain, like, you see my reviews of certain movies, okay? We're gonna go back into it. But like, like, you getting your rewards, which you deserve to have your things, but you deserve to have your things for things that are honorable that you've done, not things that are dishonorable and catering to white supremacy. But we pretend like we're fine with the catering to white supremacy part just because they're giving us attention now. It's that feeding for attentions that that victims have when you're being abused. And we're being abused by white supremacy, white narcissism. That's what they're calling it now, because like I always said, I truly believe that this shit all started in ancient times with men being jealous that women can bear children. in ancient times, most of the world was matriarchal. They chartered, they made the calendar by the woman's, menstrual cycle, because her menstrual cycle followed the moon and shit like that. All of this shit was by the woman, because our bodies are attached to nature. They follow nature, and you can't track lineage without the mother. And so they would use the woman to track lineage, and that's why they would be matriarchies and shit like that. And I truly believe them niggas got jealous. Them men, they got jealous of that. They got jealous of being led by women. They got jealous of peace. They got just like when the Moors came to Europe and ran Spain and shit, and were king and queens of Spain for a minute and shit. And I believe that's what sparked off slavery, because they got jealous of these black people coming from Africa and teaching them how to bathe and do things more properly for themselves, and they resented it. So it's interesting. I was talking to this client the other day, and they're Asian, right? And like, they just couldn't understand the white supremacy in the workplace and all this other stuff. And like, I put it this way, like, you look at East Asians and stuff. They weren't East Asian, but it's just an example. You look at East Asians, Japan in particular, they're a very work-centered culture, to the point where motherfuckers will burn themselves out and damn near die to get the job done. And they will make themselves into alcoholics just to please their supervisors, who want them to drink every night and shit, and then come to work in the morning. They'll do what they need to do. But the thing is that if they push themselves to damn near death, they'll most likely get pushed up the ladder. They people please and kiss ass and do a good job and push themselves to damn near death. There is some merit after that. But white supremacy and living in a land that is built off of racism, these people will literally be the C-suite, the supervisors and management and shit like that. They'll watch you do an amazing job at work and introduce something brand new to the company, and damn near kill yourself for it, and they'll be jealous. They'll be jealous, because this is a cultural thing within white folks, narcissism and sociopathy, because you cannot kill, steal, and destroy for hundreds of years, thousands of years, how many ever years, and not have intergenerational and epigenetic trauma passed down your lineage of narcissism, sociopathy, and feeling like you're entitled to shit. So over here in America, they get jealous, but they'll mule you until you're done with the project. And then when you're done with the project, they'll slowly start to silently fire you. It's not right to be in a work environment. Like, what they doing in Japan ain't right, because people will kill themselves. They have a suicide problem over there. South Korea too, I believe they have like a suicide problem. But at the end of the day, if you can make it and still stay off of death's door, you probably will be VP of the company one day, love. You probably will be. You might get pushed up that motherfucking ladder. It might actually happen. But over here, they don't want black people to have shit. They don't want people of color to have shit. They don't want you to have shit. That's why we can't have the train that goes across the country in 2 hours like they do in China. Because the Chinese built that shit in 15 years. They said, oh no, we have more important things to focus on. We want to actually give our people things that matter and shit. We can't have that because white people don't want black people to use it. We can't have universal health care because white people don't want black people to have that. So they will suffer to make you not have it. And that is the plight of the abuser. They will suffer. They don't care to make sure that you don't have the shit. And so, like, I stopped kissing ass. I stopped trying to prove myself to motherfucking abusive ass people's entities, social regimes, whatever, like, because I'm not gonna kill myself and you don't get nothing. You don't get nothing for it. You don't get nothing but to have to look for a new fucking job because these motherfuckers are emotionally abusing you out of your current job after you built this company. You gave this company something that they ain't had before. And, and now they're mad at you because they got epigenetic trauma built into their culture that makes them feel entitled to attention and praise and glory. And they're mad that you're getting that. They're mad. The higher ups are mad about it. They hate that shit. And so yeah, you can't rub elbows with chaos and not have that shit get on you. And that shit got on them because the district basically decided to start muling them and gaslighting them and shit. And then when they went to the district office, that nigga was like, "Oh, I implore you, the district is not trying to do that." And he seems like a low-level plebeian and shit. Like, it is what it is. He probably don't even know. But no, this is a corporation. This is a corporation. This is a like a system. This is bureaucracy. This shit is connected to the government. That is exactly what they're trying to do, love. You probably don't realize it, or you're trying to gaslight them even further into believing that that's not what's happening, and you're a piece of shit if that's the case. But I mean, I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he doesn't realize that he is a cog in the wheel trying to push the agenda of the district, which is some bullshit and it's trifling. And that's what you end up looking like. You end up looking like him, the nigga from the district that's low level, that they send out to give the bad news and to gaslight motherfuckers. And then they make him feel like he's special. Like, oh, you did such a good job. Here's a little 0.1% bonus and you get an extra day off in 3 months. Like little breadcrumbing things that abusers do. Like, literally, these award shows are breadcrumbs for black people. Like, they're just breadcrumbing you with these little tinfoil like awards, and it's like, you should just be able to love yourself enough and know that you're that bitch. Like, I'd rather get an award from black people. I'd rather, the NAACP awards become like bigger than it is, like, I just feel like we need to honor ourselves. Like, we need to honor ourselves first before we start to be open to accepting honor from these people that don't give a shit about us. Not deep down. Not really. And not all, but like, how do you know for sure until you know the person for a little bit? So no, I just feel like this is like a representation of a bigger story, a bigger issue, and how, like, whether you're in a romantic relationship and you are just feeding for that attention and for them little crumbs from that man, I'm gonna say man because it's usually a man. Like, it sometimes is a woman or a non-binary, but it's usually a fucking man. From that man, a cis man usually. And you're feeding for attention from that man, and like, he smiles at you that one time during the day, and you feel just euphoric. So like, because he smiled at you in the morning, it's okay that he hit you in the face that night. You just need to do better. Obviously, you just need to do better so you can get more smiles. And then that's where Janine and the rest of them were at. Like, basically, Janine had to figure it out by realizing what she was doing to her child, to one of her students, basically. And so, like, she has this little boy in class that's active, and he's all over the place, and he's just, he probably got some stuff going on a little bit, but he's a cutie pie, and so she realized that when she sits him next to this one little girl who's studious and pays attention, that he is quiet. And so, like, what she does is she keeps sitting him next to this little girl, or having this little girl sit next to him, and the little girl just is like, absolutely the fuck not. Like, that's not fair. I have a life. I'm a person. I'm not just this little boy's, like, little security blanket and some shit. Like, what is you doing? Like, she didn't say it like that, but that's how we should be talking to these white people. Like, I'm not about to mule for you. You need to pay me more money, nigga. And so the little girl stood up for herself, and then Janine realized from that, oh, this is what the district is doing to us. Yes, girl. So So we need to go up to the district and say some shit so that they stop trying to mule us and stuff. And so they went up to the district and they said some shit. Well, he tried to gaslight them a little bit, but they were like, absolutely the fuck not. I mean, Jacob kind of sort of fell for it, but he's SpongeBob. It is what it is. No, I'm just, that's canon for me. Like, this nigga is SpongeBob. In order for me to like his character, he needs to be SpongeBob. I'm glad he's toned it down on the microaggressions. Like, just be a little goofy nigga on the side. It's like, just be a little goofy nigga on the side. It's okay. And like they told them like, no, like we want our school back. And he was all like, no, but we're trying to like we saw some other issues at other schools and we didn't want all the other schools to fall apart. So like we gonna fix the other schools first and then fix your schools. And they were like, absolutely the fuck not. You can spend more money and get more construction people then, bitch. Like the fuck are you talking about? And I hate how they get back to the school and it's the same moldy ass motherfucking shit. And like what did you do? There's still poison in the air for the babies. Like, I don't understand what you did here. I thought we were going to get like a little bit of not a whole brand new set, but like a little bit of a different set. Like maybe in the next episode, we'll see. Maybe the set's just a tad bit different, just a tad. It ain't got to be all the way, but damn, something new. Like, I don't know, a new ceiling. Like, I like new shit. But no, I just feel like, this is just a metaphor. This whole episode, they be throwing shit in as metaphors. And I don't know if it's too like Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street, like saccharine sweet for the white execs to get that they throwing in these fucking metaphors and shit. But like, the shit works. Like, I just feel like the show is still on, y'all. I ain't got nothing to say. Like, the shit is amazing. Like, but anyway, so they they're back at the school at the end of the episode, right? And then, the sweetest of the sweets, the cutest of the cuties. So we're just expanding this janitor multiverse situation. I want to see janitor Avengers. I want to see janitor Batman, Supermans. I want to see janitor, a whole spy network of janitors. I was just imagining so many things when they introduced this woman to Mr. Johnson, and I was just like, yes, Mr. Johnson, you throw that hair back behind your ear because you have found love. Apparently, this is the woman that played Mama Pope on Scandal. I tried so many times to get into Scandal. I don't know, it's my neurodivergency or whatever. Like, they talk too fucking fast. I tried so hard to get into Scandal, and I was just sitting there watching it like, why are they talking so fucking fast? They were like, and I was just like, no. I was getting angry. I was getting frustrated. I was just like, what's going on? Why is this making me so frustrated? And I think I was overstimulated by the fast talking, and I can't watch Scandal. Maybe I'll try it again one day. Maybe I'll try it again and slow the speed down. I don't know. I'm not interested. And then like the premise is like some black woman being some white man's like mistress, and like, I just don't feel like watching that. But she was the mom, and apparently she was like this really evil character. She was just a bad bitch, but she was like a villainous and shit or whatever. But like on here, she is the new janitor because Mr. Johnson went into as Daya and swirled his little self around and came out as Mr. Johnson and said, I need a janitor because the small is too big. And so he had his whole little list, but Ava she wasn't, absolutely the fuck not. And so we got Miss, I don't know what her name is, Cora, something. But it was so cute. First it was like enemies to lovers. It was like, and the fact that they picked a black woman, they just keep bar for bar, nigga. They be picking black people to be with black people, and I just, oh God, it's so beautiful. It's just, You understand when you have to watch shit over and over again and swallow it and act like it doesn't bother you. In every fucking movie and show, you can never see black love. And if you do see it, they end up dying and walking off with a white woman. And just a bar for bar. They let these motherfuckers be with black people, and they could have easily made that a white woman or a Latin woman and been like, well, the other characters are with black people, so it's whatever. Like, he can be with a Latina. And no, they said absolutely the fuck not. We bringing in Mama Pope. And I said, yes, God. Praise him. Such a good show. Such a good representation of black women. Darker skinned black women too at that. And and they had their little love, and it was so beautiful. Like, it was enemies to lovers, and then they was being a little catty, and then they had their little argument over the mop and the mop mixture that they used for the floor, and then they realized they used the same mop mixture, and then they realized they were soulmates. But at the very end, they just realized that they had to be ships in the night. I don't know why. They're mysterious characters, these janitors. That's why I said Mr. Johnson is Patrick, because Patrick is a mysterious character that just randomly pops up out of nowhere. Even though he's a dummy, he does randomly just pop up out of nowhere sometimes with these random phrases or random adventures he's been on or wants to go on and shit, like just like Mr. Johnson. Like, they was walking and talking about how they were both supermodels, and I was just like, so they're both liars? Like, are all the janitors making shit up, or is this really a part of the janitor multiverse that we need to extend? And it's like solar opposites. If you watch that show, it's like solar opposites and the humans in the wall. They could expand it like that. That's like a whole extra show within the show. Like, solar opposites is these aliens that come to Earth, and they got this pupa, and they're waiting for the pupa to get ripe so it can take over the Earth and all this other random shit, right? And like, while they're waiting, they're doing hijinks and stupid shit and silly shit. And then they're also like kidnapping humans, like the little kid solar opposite aliens. They're like randomly, just for fun, because they're sociopaths as well. They're kidnapping like humans and shrinking them and putting it in their wall like a little ant farm, but it's like people. And so now we got this whole saga of the people in the wall trying to get the shrink ray so they can get bigger and go and get the fuck up out of there, basically. And it's been this whole saga for like 3 or 4 seasons or whatever. And like, that is a separate like little show outside of the actual solar opposite show with the aliens, but it's within the show. And so like, they could do that with the janitors, and that would just be magical. That would just, maybe they got like a headquarters, and like it's like a whole situation. Like, the more money they get, God, they cancel it after season 5. I'm just gonna binge watch it all the time. That's all. I'm gonna hope and pray, because I really would like that to be a separate little show within the show, just like on Solar Opposites, and it would just be magical and wonderful and great. But for whatever reason, mysterious reason, the ships in the night, they can't actually be together, and they had a mall-mance, yes. Melissa has fully regressed into the 80s, and she is in denial about it. Denial is a river in Egypt, Melissa. Like, just admit it. You look cute. I wish the hair had stayed curly instead of doing the crinkles. I never liked the crinkles and like the curly. She looked like Merida, but we had to do the full 80s look, so I get it. It's just, I never liked the crinkles. I thought they were ugly. I never did. I never liked the crinkle hair. Like, I didn't. Even when my hair was straight, I tried it, and I was just like, I don't like this. Like it's like, it's not waves and it's not curls. That's why I don't like it. It's weird. Like, it's not waves and it's not curls. It's just like crinkles. Like, I don't like this. It's ugly. Like, I don't know. For me, it has to be one or the other. Like even my hair. Like I don't like it to be multiple textures. Like when I used to get relaxers, I would hate when my hair had new growth because I don't like it to be two different textures. Like, and there's multiple textures in my hair. Like I think like I got like 4B in the back and 4C. It's like a mixture. It's mostly 4B in the back, and then like a mixture of 4B and mostly 4C in the middle and the front. But like they're all curls, so it's like it's just different variations of curls, but they're all curls, so it's like whatever. But like when I would have relaxers, it was like bone straight and then like curls. I hated that shit. Like when I grew my natural hair out, I big chopped. I wasn't about to grow that shit out and then cut it off. Like the fuck? I was imagining it like getting longer and longer, and then I would just have this like straight shit. It's because it wasn't gonna get long like the 3C, the 3A, the 3B girlies, where it would just be like these loose curls and then these straight pieces at the end. It would have been like this afro with these straight pieces hanging off of the absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely not. So I just cut that shit all off and was like, this is good. This is good. I'll just grow it out. I'll just have short hair and it'll grow out. So no, it's in between stuff. I don't like the crinkles. But I get it. It's the 80s. It's the 80s. She's back in the 80s and she is in denial about it. I don't know. She regrets. And it that's how she coped. It is what it is. That's how she was coping. And I can't be mad about it. Like how they taking these characters and just making random things out of them. Like maybe there's a sense of obligation to not end the show, and so now they just being fanciful with the characters just cause Mr. Johnson wasn't like that. I mean he was weird, but like he's evolving into like now we got like a janitor multiverse that I would like to have explored. But no, like, and then Ava and Daya, they love each other. I was just tripping, and no, I wasn't tripping. I was partially right because I just feel like when she gets overstimulated, she gets too mean. Like she's snappy and snarky here and there, but when she gets overstimulated and upset, she gets fucking mean. And her and Daya have that relationship. I could tell at the end she gave it a little manatee, and she said, "I missed her so much. I know, girl. Oh my God. Each other. That's your road dog and shit, nigga." That they can talk like that to each other, but Daya don't be talking shit like Ava do. And that shit with her making Daya into the little gnome slave and having a chair sitting there, maybe she was just fucking with her. I don't know, but it felt real in my spirit. I didn't like it. It was too mean. It crossed the line. And then making that man hurt that man's feelings because he liked to go to Circuit City and pretend he was in a different world or whatever the fuck he said. Like that ain't right. You hitting below the belt, girl. Like you can be a little snappy, but damn. So no, it was both. It was like they got a certain type of relationship, but at the same time, like you can't be mean like that just because you overstimulated and you hurting motherfuckers' feelings and shit. Go to therapy. I know she got trouble with one of the children tried to hug her during a little montage in the beginning, and she was like, "Get off me, stop touching me." Like I know she got some trouble with some of these things. Maybe she got some neurodivergencies and shit herself. There's a lot of black women that come across as mean or angry and stuff like that when they got neurodivergencies. They just say how they feel. They got sensory issues, or she could just be traumatized from like her mom and shit and her on people that whatever happened in her life. Whatever the case may be, go to therapy. It could be a combination of everything, but whatever it is, there is no excuse to be cruel at all. Not even a little bit. It's one thing to be a little snappy, a little snarky, had his back and forth with somebody and stuff like that. It's another thing to just be mean. But I loved her. When Daya put that little manatee on the desk, it was the cutest thing. I think Daya realized too that she wasn't being mean like on purpose, like maliciously. I think she realized that she was overstimulated, and Daya wasn't about to sit around and deal with that. She was about to sit there and deal with overstimulated Ava. She went on vacation, and I felt that shit in my spirit. I was like, okay, girl, I know that's right. I know maybe that's what her niggas like too. He knows that she's a good person, and she just kind of gets mean sometimes, and it's still no excuse because it's like, how long you gonna put up with that? how long you gonna put up with somebody that's not gonna do something about them being mean when they're overstimulated? You know what I mean? Like just, go there, go work on that. Or you can still be snippy. I'm snippy, I'm snappy, I have a little attitude, all the shit. But like, I'm not gonna be abjectly just cruel and mean to people, like, because that's just not who the fuck I am. It hurts my feelings to hurt your feelings. It does. Like, I have a lot of empathy. It hurts my feelings to hurt your feelings. But no, I thought that was so cute when she put the little manatee on her desk. They love each other. Dia been there since day one. That is her road dog. Like, Dia was probably low-key running the school in the first season because Ava didn't know what the fuck she was doing. Like, they have a deep connection. Like, Dia was the principal probably the first 2 seasons. Like, she was running shit in that office. And so now that Ava's getting it together and has gotten it together these last few seasons and is actually running shit, like, now they can be like a team and work together and shit. But instead Ava's like hoarding it over her and shit and being mean sometimes. I don't like it. So, you fix that. But otherwise, I loved it. It was magical. They love each other. They're besties. I know, girls. Like frenemies and shit, but like more friends than enemies. But no, I love this show. It's a magical experience to see just blackness be unencumbered from whiteness. Just being black and just being yourself and just loving and living and not having to worry about, well, what are the white people? I mean, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but like not having to worry. I'm going to just, on the show at the very least, it just seems like they don't have to worry as much about being a type of way for the white gaze. They don't. Like, white people watching this and shit, even still, and they still being blackity black, in their own little quirky ways, and like they don't gotta like pull out a stereotype. They don't gotta, they got all different types of black folks. Like they got the teachers, and then they got like some of the parents can be a little hood sometimes and shit like that. But like in the last episode, the parents was yelling, they was hood and everything, and like it's all of the different types of black folks. That's why I like it. I like it because it's like it's not just one type of black folks. It's like, no, we're not a monolith. What if white people watch this and just like for some reason they don't see black people? Maybe that's how they, because they're just so quirky that they tell themselves in their head like they're mixed. They're just dark skinned Indians. Shut up. Now, I really want to know how this show is making it. I really need to know. Like, is it a miracle? Because I have not seen, even our own people will not make shit that glorifies black women, dark skinned black women, and black love. Like, even our own people will not make shit that glorifies that. And so, like, I need to know, like, how is this show in the 5th season? What's going on? What kind of magic, spell work, witchcraft is going on behind the scenes that this show is in the 5th season? What kind of energy does this cast bring into the studio space, into the executive and producer space, that makes these people say, oh yeah, you get another season, when they, like, soon as Jimmy Kimmel said some shit about Trump, they took him off air. I just, like, And then like the little joke Ava said about how, like, why would the media lie to us? And it's just like, bitch, shut up. Like, they dropping gems and gold in this motherfucker and teaching people about shit without saying the thing. They're giving you metaphors and stories and shit and involving the children in it so that it can, no, it's Sesame Street. And you know how radical Sesame Street was, nigga? Like, Sesame Street is a radical ass show. It's, anything that has to do with people of color talking about their lives and their lived experience is radical. Anything with black people talking about their lives and experiences is radical. And so, like, this is a radical ass show. This is a revolutionary ass show because there's not nothing like it out there that I've seen. I mean, there is like there's shows that are like this, but they don't get the notoriety like this. They get like one season, or you might give them a movie. And then that's about it. Like, or it's just a bunch of light skinned motherfuckers and shit. Like, we not putting no darkies on this motherfucker. So to be able to just watch this and just revel in my blackness, I just it's magical. It's a magical experience. And so this was a good ass episode. I liked it. I like how they used the district to show how white supremacy blinds us with gaslighting and praise so that we can just fall in line and keep doing for white supremacy and like destroying our own selves and our people. No, because if the attention really mattered, then it would matter for all of us and not just for the few rich black folks that will probably like survive an apocalypse while the rest of us are dead. That's what they're banking on. They're like, I'm gonna survive an apocalypse and shit with my bunker and money, and fuck these other niggas and shit. Like, they should have got it from the dirt like I did. Shut the fuck, nigga. That's why there's not a lot of us in Hollywood. Cause we can't get it from the dirt, and they not gonna let all of us through the door and shit. And even our own people won't let us black people through the door. Like, you know how many times I've had clients that work in Hollywood and they're like working background stuff, like, you know, PA or editing or assistant that or whatever the fuck, right? And they'll be like lamenting about how these people, black production companies even, won't hire black background people, black editors, black PAs, black, you know, niggas that do the music for the movies and shit. They won't hire black people. They'll hire the white people because they don't feel like dealing with, we don't like ourselves. And I will say that we are traumatized people, okay? We are traumatized people. So oftentimes we go into situations, into interviews and shit like that, and we present one way, and then because we are traumatized people, we don't show up like we're supposed to in certain situations. You need to have a better vetting process. That's not an excuse, because these white people are doing the same thing. They're just Trojan horsing their way in by pretending to be your friend so that they can snatch it from you later. Oh, excuse me. So they can just snatch it from you later and say that they, you know, they were a part of everything and they did everything and they could take the accolades, and then they move on to the white productions. The white famous people, the white famous directors, and the white famous production companies and shit. They move on because they've got the accolades they needed from your shit, and they move on to the white people shit. I'm saying you can't have, you know, white people in the background that are doing what they're supposed to be doing and showing up and being an ally and not moving on and being shiesty and shit, but just for black solidarity. Absolutely the fuck not. Like, one day I'm gonna be able to afford a secretary and an office with like a lobby and shit like that. I'm only hiring black people. Black women in particular, because why not? Why wouldn't I want to walk into my office and see somebody that looks like me every day? White people do it. Why can't I do it? Yes. Why wouldn't I want to see somebody that looks like me every day that has gone through similar struggles that I've gone through and has persevered and now has gotten to this place where, you know, we working together and it is what it is. And so, you know, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Like, everybody should be black, in my opinion. In the background, in front of the camera, everybody should be black. You know, in front of the camera, you can throw in some others, just like on Abbott Elementary. You got some others in there, and they're integral characters and important. They play important parts to the story and shit like that. So I'm not gonna limit having these extra characters that, you know, are important and play important parts of the story that aren't black. But the main characters need to be black. The black production, black movie, black show. The main characters need to be black. Most of the background need to be black. You know, and it is what it is. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care what you're talking about. That's black solidarity. That's building up our people into something that matters instead of like building up your company. You know how many black rich people build up companies that make a lot of money, but because, I don't know, white narcissistic pressure not wanting to take on the load of growing the company into a billion dollar company. Only want the billions for yourself, don't want to give back to the community, whatever the fuck. They sell it. Like, like I literally chose to subscribe to Tidal because it's owned by black people. That was the literal only reason that I signed up for Tidal. Because there was Spotify, there's Pandora, there was, but I signed up to Tidal because it was black folks. And this motherfucking Jay-Z, should have known it would happen, but I just thought because they were marketing it as like a black person platform, music platform, owned by black people, and got the Dolby surround sound, all this other shit, and they were marketing it as a black owned thing in the very, very beginning. Like Beyonce would only release her, her visual albums on Tidal and shit like that. This motherfucker sold it to white people. You could have been a Spotify. You could have been better than Spotify, because Spotify's are Zionists and and all that other shit. But instead we sold it to white people, and we brag about there's $1 billion on this elevator. Okay, girl, whatever. It is $1 billion just for y'all, not for like black people that want to come up in the world too and shit and learn and get and release the trauma off their shoulders. They just need like a chance. No, we hate ourselves. We hate ourselves. We hate ourselves as a people. Not all of us, but a good majority of us do, and it's sad. It's really, really sad. But so this is why every time I watch Abbott Elementary, I have hope. I have joy in my heart, and I'm just like, yes, God. Like, what if they make that whole janitor saga into like a thing, just like on Solar Opposites, and it's a bunch of janitors just, at Janitor Central, and they're super spies and superheroes and random motherfuckers, and girl, I would love it. I would love that shit. I love this show. It's magical. It is. It's a magical show with magical black people, and I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it. I love that they made it and that they keep doing it. And, I don't know what else to say. When it's over, I'm going to cry, just like I cried when Insecure was over. I sobbed. And then I came back after the last episode and I redid all the seasons and tried to connect the dots in all the seasons. And why she should have ended up with Lawrence, because Nathan had her crashing the hell out because he couldn't get his mental health shit together. Nathan had her popping up at his house looking for him. Why would she end up with a nigga that has you popping up at their house looking for you and crashes out when you tell them that you love them, and disappears on you for months and like ghosts you and shit because they're having a mental breakdown, instead of just like communicating and trusting you to be there for them? Obviously they need more therapy and more time alone to work through their shit, and they should prioritize that instead of being with you. So no, Nathan wasn't for her. Lawrence went through the regular everyday, human tragedies and failures and wins, and he figured it out until he got to the place where he was a grown-up. And she went through the regular human tragedies and frailties and wins and losses and shit like that until she was a grown-up. And when they both were grown up and prioritizing the right things outside of a relationship, that's when they finally got together. And so it makes sense, because that's how it should be. You need to prioritize yourself and build your shit before you invite somebody into your shit. You don't gotta be perfect. You just have to know how to cope. When shit happens, you have to know how to cope in a way that will heal you properly, and not cope in a way that will lead to tragedies and addiction and the downfall of you and anybody else around you. So, she belonged with Nathan because they both did the work separately to eventually come together and be together. I mean, not Nathan, Lawrence. She belonged with Lawrence because they both did the work separately and prioritized the things they needed to prioritize outside of a relationship before they came back together. And I just feel like that is the proper way to do things, not be with somebody whose mental health is so bad and they're not taking care of it properly to the point where it's a detriment to your mental health. Absolutely the fuck not. So she belonged with Lawrence, but I did a whole like series review and everything. That shit took me like 3 or 4 days to do. I researched. It was magical. It was a whole experience, and I just I grieved and I released it. So I'm gonna do it this show when it ends. I don't know. I might do a series review. I might not. It depends. That was a long ass shit that I had to do. I don't know. I might, because I like this show. And once it ends, who knows? We may not never see no shit like this again. They said niggas don't want to glorify black women. Like, white people don't want to glorify black women. Black women have to glorify ourselves, and that's what Quinta did. And she got Sheryl Lee Ralph that Emmy, and she built a platform for Ava, and she's basically created an acting school for these babies where they can get paid while learning on the job. And this nigga Gregory is directing, and he's doing different things and shit. Like, this is an ecosystem. Quinta created an ecosystem for everybody on her show to thrive. And that is the magic of black women that care about other black people. It's not just for themselves and the rich people around them. It's for everybody to thrive. It's for everybody to grow. It's for everybody to evolve and change and be. It's not selfish. Quinta wasn't selfish, and that is so beautiful to watch how she wasn't selfish. Because there's so many black people, especially black men, that are just selfish and don't care about black people as a whole, as a community. They only care about black men, and these revolutionary stories are only fueling black men and their revolutionary story, and they don't care about how black women played a part in those revolutions except to cater to the black men. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about who's going to be the next Black Panther when we already have a Black Panther. Black Panther 2 was an excellent movie that went through all the stages of grief, because Shuri is a human being who lost a brother and lost a mother and a father. She lost her whole family, and we watched her break down into nothing and build herself back up like a bad bitch. And you're mad because you don't see black women as people. So that's why you keep, even black women say it. Who's gonna be the next Black Panther? We don't need a next Black Panther. Shuri is the next Black Panther. I'm tired. She's the next Black Panther in the comic books. We don't need Damson Idris. We have Shuri. I'm tired. So, just to watch someone not be selfish with our community is a beautiful thing. To watch a black woman, a darker skinned black woman, not be selfish with our community and then be inclusive of all black people, black men, black children, black women, black LGBTQ, the nigga that was dating Jacob and shit, like, to not be selfish and to be inclusive. Maybe that's why the show is thriving, because it includes everybody and everybody gets a place in this ecosystem. And maybe that's what it's trying to show everybody else, especially in the black community. Everybody deserves a place in the black community. And that shit is beautiful. That shit is beautiful. Every time I watch the show, it's beautiful. Let me stop. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you thought. Next week, of course, I'm going to reviewing episode 12, of course. I think they take a break in February or whatever. So, I'll find something. Maybe I'll do Boomerang, because I saw that video and I was just like, you know what? I want to do Boomerang at some point, because fuck all this. What do you mean a reverse, reality and shit. I hate motherfucking white supremacist motherfuckers. Like, what are you talking about, a reverse reality, love? Like, they're black professionals. Black is not a monolith. We're not all gangbangers and live in the hood. And even if we do live in the hood and the gangbangers, we're still human beings that matter, love. What are you talking about? Reverse reality. Maybe I'll do Boomerang. It'll be a 90s rewind and shit, nigga. Like, cause absolutely the fuck not. And then Boomerang. I think that's why Boomerang is such a cult classic too, cause it's inclusive of everybody. Everybody gets a place. Maybe not the gay folks. It was the early 90s. But most of us got a place. And the more you give us a place in the media that you create, the more the energy of that will draw people in. Maybe that's what's happening here. The energy of being able to see yourself in these characters when most shows and movies will not allow you to see yourself in these characters, and you just have to just deal with it. Maybe it creates magic. Maybe it creates a magic that keeps things going and evolving and lasting, that it's hard to take away because, of the magic that's created when you combine all of these energies in the same room and shit. Nigga, see, look. Getting spiritual, I'm getting metaphysical, I'm getting magical and shit, nigga. Like, I love this fucking show. I do. It reminds me that I matter. I matter. How I feel matters. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be cared for. I deserve to love and care for myself. It's magical. Quinta Brunson created an ecosystem within this show. I'm gonna be sad when it's gone. It's like I'm grieving now. So like, just like when Chadwick died, I grieved when he did that video they posted on the Shade Room. Everybody was making fun of him and shit, and they're evil, and they're gonna get the life that they deserve. Because I grew up in a house with people that died from cancer and shit. I know what the fuck that shit looks like when people are dying. And when he did that video for that like fundraiser shit, I knew what was happening, and I sobbed for a day. A whole day. I was like, this nigga is about to be gone. He is about to be gone. And so when he was gone, I was still sad, but I wasn't as sad as I was when I saw that video. I grieved early. So like, if I grieve early for this, they always take shit away from black people. They do. So, I hope it doesn't happen, but the way the pattern recognition, the track record, that's why I'm so shocked, because it's going against the pattern recognition of white supremacy, and I don't understand. My brain is confused. So if I grieve early for this and it ends, then, it won't be so bad when it ends. It won't be as bad. So I need to get out of my system now. I realize that's how I deal with shit most of the time. Like when I know something bad may be coming just because of pattern recognition and shit, I will grieve early. I will grieve when I get anxious before I do something. I will say it out loud. I'm anxious. I'm scared and shit like that. I'll get it out of my system so that I can actually get and do the thing. People be looking at me weird because like 5 minutes ago you were saying that you didn't even want to do that and you were scared, and now you sitting up here hee-hawing, kicking and all this other shit like you fine and shit. Yeah, because I had to release it so I can do this. Like, see, that's why niggas be wrong about emotions and shit and holding them in and not expressing them. No, you need to release the emotion, because if you don't release it, that's what holds you back from doing the shit you need to be doing. Or at least doing it properly. So I didn't release it in the beginning when I first start to recognize the pattern recognition. And then when the bad thing actually happens, it's not so bad. It's like I already grieved. I already let you go. I let you go in my head. I said it's gonna happen. And when it happens, I'll be prepared. And so just like with Chadwick, God rest that man. So I just, God, hey, I can't even watch nothing that he's in no more just because it's too much. I can't do it. I'm not watching the first Black Panther. I don't know what you want me to say. I can't. Just the thought that he was walking around flip-flopping and doing all that shit and he had cancer in his stomach just bothers me so much. Every time I think about watching one of his movies, I just be like, why wasn't he laying down? Is the Actors Association not funding like the health care of these people? Like, do they feel like that are they made to act in order to maintain health care? Because I'm just confused why this man was not laying down and resting. Like, the fuck, girl. And so, I'm gonna grieve now, and so I might mention it a few times because I'm grieving. So when it happens, it ain't gonna be so bad. It ain't gonna be so bad. Y'all should try it. Just, get out of your system now. So once it happens, it's like, oh, okay, well, I cried for a week like a year ago, so like, oh God, I think I was sad for a week. Like, after that video that he did, I was sad for, like, I cried the first day, and then I was just thinking about it all week. After that, I was just like, oh my God, this nigga's not gonna be here that much longer. He's gonna go. Why is this happening? What's going on? Oh, that shit fucked me up for a whole week and shit. And then, I think a few months later, he went on his way to the heavenly throne and shit. And like, I was sad, but I wasn't as sad as I was that first week after he did that fundraising video and stuff, and he had that hat on, and he just looked so, like, I know what it looks like when people are dying. I don't care. I've had, like, my aunt died, my grandmother died, my mom died, my other aunt died. I've had some cousins die. Like, no, nigga, I grew up with death. I seen what it looks like when people be in caskets and shit, nigga. Like, it's not. Absolutely the fuck not. I know when people are dying. But anyways, I'm gonna get off of here because I'm rambling. I always ramble, but it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you thought. Later days.